I recently read the book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Did you know that 40 of the decisions that we make daily are habitual? In our morning routine, small acts such as putting on the kettle or starting the coffee machine, switching on lights, washing your face and brushing your teeth are things that we do automatically as habits. Our brain creates habits so that it doesn't have to work as hard, because it doesn't distinguish between good and bad habits. Maybe it's cigarettes, unhealthy snacking, social media, or biting your nails. They just strive to form habits out of repetitive behavior. We all have habits that we wish we could kick, but it's very hard to edit ingrained habits. Forming healthy and effective habits is one of the most crucial things needed to succeed, so Charles Duhigg formed a training program that teaches positive habit-forming techniques. He tells you the actionable way of recognizing good habits and changing those self-destructive habits that negatively affect us. Let's examine the book's main ideas and the golden rule: habits and habit change. Number 1. How exactly do we create habits? Habit is based on 3 concepts, namely cue, routine, and reward. Cues trigger us to want to do something. Routine happens as a result of physically, mentally, or emotionally committing to acting on the cues. Finally, the reward is the feeling we get from doing something, which makes the habit stick. We crave for reward from habitual acts, which can be both positive and negative depending on the habit. For example, habit of exercise can often be tricky. So a quick and easy cue to develop exercising as a habit is: before you go to bed, put your exercise clothes in your line of sight. This means that when you wake up, they will be one of the first things you see. Once you put on your exercise kit, you're a step closer to doing exercise. However, if it's a harmful habit such as smoking, you may very well be aware that many cues lead to craving. Sometimes just seeing other people smoking can be a reminder of the habit and can cue the routine. Duhigg argues that craving reinforces habits because they're the anticipation of a reward. You want to get to the point where you crave positive actions and can resist the craving for negative actions. If it's something positive that benefits you physically, emotionally, or mentally, you must know to nurture and cultivate this. However, if it's a harmful habit, there are ways to rid ourselves of these habits and develop new ones. Number 2, you need to create good habits from bad habits. What's the thing that you find yourself craving the most? Perhaps you have a very sweet tooth and crave cookies a lot. The cue that leads to you eating the cookies might be that you see them in the shop and they're part of a 2-for-1 special. Maybe you always have cookies in your kitchen cupboard or cookie jar. Perhaps you're susceptible to seeing people eat cookies on television. You may have even built a routine around eating cookies, where you associate them with a cup of tea or coffee or a glass of milk. Eventually, you may develop a habit around these routines, where it gets to the stage where you think you can't go without having a cookie and a cup of tea or coffee. Hence, cravings develop, or you associate smoking with a glass of wine. Here, what I have assessed is that one bad habit leads to another bad habit, and it all arises from our craving for comfort. What I have learned from the book is you can replace a bad habit with a good one. For example, each time you crave a cigarette, instead of smoking, you can discipline yourself to run a mile or do some exercise. But in social gatherings, you might want to drink or smoke to avoid their comment that you have changed. Don't fear such statements and harness the willpower to discipline yourself and cultivate good habits. Number 3. Willpower can be strengthened by sticking to a routine. While identifying triggers and how we react in specific scenarios is vital, we must know that we have autonomy over our actions, then replace the bad with a good one, knowing that replacing bad habits with good habits so we're still getting rewards while also being productive. Number 4. Duhigg suggests that we develop ourselves around what he calls keystone habits. What are keystone habits? Those familiar with architecture will know that when you build an arch, there's a central stone or brick that supports the entire structure. So exercise isn't just about looking good and having the perfect body. Research shows that exercise is a massive catalyst and driver of good habits, and that exercising just once a week has a significant impact on overall well-being. So, when thinking about what keystone habits to incorporate into your life, choose 1 or 2 things that you know will have the most impact on your current situation. Number 5. Do things that celebrate who you are. Remember that being successful, motivated, and productive are some of the most rewarding experiences we can have. The snowball effect of good habits is enormous. When you build willpower new habits, you become more disciplined in various aspects of your life. Number 6, where there's willpower, there's a way. Willpower is where most of us fall short because it's difficult to nurture and develop. We need the willpower to create new habits, and this requires self-belief and discipline. It's something that's developed. Losing weight isn't easy. Giving up smoking isn't easy, and training to run a marathon isn't easy. Studies show that you can have the most enormous IQ on the planet, but if you don't have the willpower to support it, it's completely useless. Duhigg cites research that shows that willpower outpredicts IQ by a factor of 2. The first step is we need to believe that we can change. Secondly, we need to nurture discipline and control. And remember, as Duhigg asserts, change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. I will review another book on adapting the habits that matter the most and maximizing your productivity. So, subscribe to my channel to establish a good habit of learning the valuable opinions of bestseller authors.